Hey everybody, I was just sitting here and this actually has been on my mind for quite some time. And it's about relationships, marriages in particular. There is no perfect marriage because there are no perfect people. So you do what's best for you and your spouse. You don't let anybody else come into your house and tell you how your marriage should be or how you should be as a wife and how he should be as a husband, especially from people who haven't had successful relationships themselves. You know, a lot of times people do and say things um, uh, from jealousy. It's not that they want to help you or they care about you or your situation. They say things out of jealousy. So something happened. I believe it's been like a month or two ago. A young lady shot at her husband's mistress. What the news said is that they're going through a divorce, and she shot at the mistress. So my initial reaction was to pray. That's what I did. I didn't know who she was, but not something. Holy Spirit, I just began to pray for her because I know she's a child of God. No matter what anybody else says or does, I know she's a child of God. So I just began to pray for her. And then I began to try to find out more about her because it's just something about her spirit that I'm like, God, this woman has so much of you in her that the enemy is trying to take her out in this way. So just finding old videos of her and stuff. And I saw one video that she made of her and her husband singing this beautiful song for their anniversary. This was some years ago. I had never even heard of her before this other incident happened. So as I'm scrolling through the videos, y'all, the comments were vile. They were vicious. They were just cold-hearted. A lot of the sisters were in the comments talking about, yeah, they sung this song all those years ago, but look at them now. Look at where she at now. And I'm like, so what? Why are you on this lady's page or on other people's page gloating in somebody else's downfall? Why is what this lady going through bringing you pleasure? I don't understand it. And the Bible tells us that even if our own enemies fall, we're not to gloat. We're not to, delight in their downfall or destruction. And I'm like, these are that's why God had me praying for this woman. And the sad part is the people that were on her page saying all that foolishness and talking bad about her probably were the same ones at her concerts, seeing her out in the street, giving her big up, smiling in her face, but tearing her down behind her back. We have to be careful with people and their motives. When I was a young wife, I allowed people to I listened to foolishness until my husband stepped in, and corrected that mess. He's like, you are my wife. I'm your husband. If this is not something I require of you, why are you letting other people make you feel like this is something that you have to do? I don't ask you to cook for me every day. I don't ask you to do it. If I'm not requiring it of you, don't let other people put their view on you, their perspective on you of what a wife should be, especially if they're not one. So for those of you that's been married as long as I have and those who've just gotten married, do what's best for you. And you can't take everybody's advice. Everybody does not have your best interest at heart. I've talked to so many young women who unfortunately, a lot of them marriages have ended, and unfortunately, I hate that. But the one thing that all of them that I've talked to had in common was their family and close friends coming against them. I knew it wasn't gonna last. I knew it wasn't gonna work. You gonna have, gloating in what they look at as their downfall. And that's what hurt them the most, from what I could perceive, during our conversations. And just reading through this young lady's comments, I'm like, God, and I still pray for her. I'm going to continue to pray for her and pray that God give her another chance. Pray that God will deliver her from this. I know, we're held accountable for our actions. Actions have consequences. So unfortunately, she's going to have to face the consequences of her actions. But I just pray that God bring her out better than when she went in. But it just broke my heart to see people gloating in this lady's downfall. So be careful of those around you. I say it a lot. I've been accused of being paranoid. I'm like, no, I'm not paranoid. I'm cautious. There's a difference. I'm cautious now. I've seen too much, been through too much. So young, newlyweds, don't have everybody in your house. You can't take everybody's advice, because people will intentionally give you bad advice to try to destroy your home, because they want what you got. Don't want you to have it, so they'll sow bad seeds into your life, give you bad advice. The word says a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. That's God, you, and your husband. I don't care who they are. Don't let nobody live with you. Don't care who they are. Do not let nobody live with you. That's the quickest way to bring conflict into your home. You've opened the door to it. Help people in it, however, whatever way you can, but letting different people move in, especially other women. And we could see by Arnold Schwarzenegger's mistress, a man don't care what she looked like. So don't just know that there is no perfect formula for marriage. There is no, you don't allow people to put their expectations on you. Don't allow people to project onto you. Because a lot of broken, bitter people will project that brokenness and bitterness onto you. That's why they can't be happy for your happiness. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm just going to flow with it. I'm going to move with it. I'm going to move with it. We just have to be so careful who we allow into our circles, who we allow into our lives. Everybody does not have your best intentions at heart. Everybody's motives are not pure towards you. Now, relationships and marriage and all that is not for everybody. There are some people who genuinely do not want that, and they could care less about yours or mine or anybody else's. Those are the kind of people that I could deal with, But it's the ones who are bitter, who are mad, who will try their best to destroy what you have because they don't have it and they want it. And because they don't have it and they want it, they don't want you to have it either. And even when they get it, they still don't want you to have it, So just be careful out there. Be careful who you allow into your home. Be careful. I used to be the type, because of the work my husband does, we FaceTime all the time. And whoever I was friendly with at the time, if it had been some months, whatever, they would be hey, how you doing? Hey. So this, I think about 6 months ago, a sister that I had known maybe a couple of months, we were out to lunch, and my husband and I were FaceTiming, and he was like, oh, I see your friends are there now, so I'm going to get off the phone. I was like, well, okay. So we were saying our I love yous and all of that. And so the sister sit down, hey, how you doing? Hey, brother, hey. And he said, click. And so he had never done that before. So I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, because I'm kind of feeling like, oh, I wonder how, like this is not like him, but he just hung up the phone. And she was in her feelings, y'all, so deep at that lunch. I mean, she just flipped out. And I'm sitting there like, this is crazy. But we moved past that point. If you my friend, you don't need to know my husband. You ain't our friend, you my friend. So you ain't never got to meet him. You ain't got to know him. Just like my friends, I don't need to know your man. Now, if you and your husband want to get together with me and my husband and go on a couple's date or something, I'm down with that. But as far as you all up in my husband's face or me being all up in your husband's face, it's not going to happen, Captain. Because there are boundaries that need to be in place. I'm not going to disrespect somebody else's marriage because I don't want nobody disrespecting mine. I'm not going to be sitting all up around, you know what I'm saying? Three is a crowd. 2 is company, 3 is a crowd. So I'm not going to be sitting all around somebody else and their man. I'm just not. I had a friend years ago, and both our husbands were military. When her husband would come home, I would leave because my husband was coming home, and her husband got offended and asked her, well, she must don't like me. I'm like, well, did you tell him that my husband was coming home too? They both in the military, and they both get off at 5, so I got to be home for my husband. So just treasure your relationship. Be protective. There is nothing wrong with being protective of your marriage. Don't let any and everything around your you know what I'm saying? It's a sacred space, in my opinion. And that's not to, how people think, oh, that means you don't trust your man. That means you jealous. No, that don't. That just mean I'm smart. That just mean I've lived. That means I know people. I've seen people. I've seen the things that people have tried to pull because they see how I'm treated, and they think, and some of them want that. And some of them have actively tried to get that. So just be careful. Be careful. James 4:2 says you want what you don't have, so you scheme and kill to get it. You're jealous of what others have, but you can't get it, so you fight and wage war to take it away from them. Yet you don't have it because you don't ask God for it. So people, you know how when you was a kid or something and you see somebody with a cookie or you see them with a sweet and now you want it. You got to have it. And some kids were bullies and they would just go up and snatch what the other child had. So you just be careful. Please be careful. That lady's story just resonated with me, and it just touched my heart. And just hearing a lot of the other women that I've talked to, hearing their stories and what they've gone through, and how it's the very ones who were supposed to support them that's tearing them down. That's gloating because they feel like now that this man is gone, that they are gonna fall apart. I had a brother tell, and I still laugh at it. He and I have no problems now. We handled that like adults. But he was telling me how he felt that I would be so much better if my husband was back in the country. All of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, you act like my husband completes me. He doesn't complete me. He compliments me. I'm already complete. I don't look for him to complete me. He compliments me. So they looking at, now that this man is gone, that they hoping that the woman will fall apart. Hoping that things will fall apart in her life. Who does that? Who? A jealous person, an envious person, a miserable person. So y'all pray with me for these young ladies that are going through things and got people who are supposed to be supporting them, tearing them down. gloating in their down, what they perceive as their downfall. Because we know, one thing we know for sure, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. So God may have just had to move that one out of the way, so the one who she was supposed to be with anyways, the one who's gonna treat her like the queen that she always is and has been, is gonna come in and be everything to her that slacker that ran off, that did whatever he did, would have never been. He was her anchor. Now this person here is going to help her fly and soar. So this little thing that you are going through right now, wherever you are, you may be feeling down. You may be feeling broken. You got people talking about you behind your back, your family, so-called friends, all of that stuff. It's temporary. It's temporary. I've seen what God can do. I've seen women go through what you're going through and come out 10 times better than they were, when they were with who they wanted to be with. Not who God put them with, but who they chose for themselves. But when God brought who they were supposed to be with into their lives, they began to soar. Chains fell off, anchors fell off. They began to soar even further with God as well. Not only financially, not only physically, because some of them get their shapes back. They're happy again. They're smiling again. They're joyful again. But the joy that God has gave them becomes their strength. I just pray for you. I pray that God heals you. I pray that he heals your hurt. I pray that he heals your heart. I pray that you don't let what they say about you destroy you. I pray that you come out stronger and better than you did when you went in. And just know, as you're going through, you're coming out. You're coming out. God has so much for you, so much for you in store right now. So let them talk, let them whisper, let them gossip. You know who you are and you know where you're going to. So I just pray for you. I pray that you become everything that God ordained you to be. Now this is rambling. It's been all over the place, but I'm just speaking as I feel led to speak. God bless you.